Your cat is sending you signals every single day, screaming for help in silence. That sudden scratching on the couch, that random hiding under the bed, that strange meow at 3 a.m. None of that is random. Your cat's environment might be slowly destroying its mental health, and by the end of this video, you'll never look at your cat's behavior the same way again. Cats are masters of disguise when it comes to emotional pain. Unlike dogs, who wear their hearts on their sleeves with wagging tails and excited barks, cats have spent thousands of years perfecting the art of hiding vulnerability. In the wild, showing weakness meant becoming prey. So even today, your domesticated cat carries that same survival instinct. This means that when something in their environment is causing them distress, they won't come crying to you. Instead, they'll show it through small, almost invisible changes that most owners completely miss or dismiss as just being a cat. The scary part is that stress in cats doesn't just affect their mood, it affects their entire body. Chronic stress can weaken their immune system, trigger digestive issues, cause urinary tract problems, and even lead to obsessive behaviors like over-grooming until bald patches appear on their skin. What looks like your cat is just acting weird could actually be a slow-burning health crisis happening right under your roof. One that gets worse every single day. It goes unnoticed. One of the very first signs that something is off in your cat's environment is a change in their hiding patterns. Every cat has favorite spots, places where they feel safe and relaxed. But when a cat suddenly starts hiding in new, unusual places like behind the toilet, deep inside a closet, or under furniture they never used before, it's often a desperate attempt to escape something that's making them feel unsafe. This could be a new noise, a new person, a new pet, or even a change in furniture placement that disrupted their sense of territory. What makes this even more interesting is that the change doesn't have to be dramatic from a human's perspective. You might think rearranging the living room is harmless, but to a cat, their entire mental map of safe zones and escape routes just got rewritten overnight. And if you've noticed your cat suddenly avoiding a room they used to love, or refusing to walk past a certain spot, stick around because in the next block, we're going to reveal a sign that's hiding in plain sight. Something you've probably seen every day without realizing what it actually means. Let's talk about something that happens in almost every cat owner's home, but gets brushed off as normal cat stuff. Excessive grooming. Cats groom themselves daily. That's completely normal. But there's a massive difference between healthy grooming and what veterinarians call psychogenic alopecia, a fancy term for stress-induced hair pulling. When a cat's environment becomes overwhelming, licking and grooming releases endorphins that temporarily calm them down, almost like a self-soothing mechanism. The problem is that this mechanism can spiral out of control if you start noticing thinning fur, bald patches, or red, irritated skin, especially on the belly, inner legs, or flanks. Your cat might be using grooming as a coping mechanism for something deeply unsettling in their daily life. And here's the part that surprises most people. This stress doesn't always come from something obvious like a loud noise or a scary event. Sometimes it's something as subtle as a change in your work schedule, meaning your cat now spends more hours alone than before. And that shift in routine alone can be enough to trigger this behavior. Another sign that flies completely under the radar is changes in litter box behavior. If your cat suddenly starts avoiding the litter box, going right next to it instead of inside, or even urinating on your bed or clothes, most owners assume it's a behavioral problem or even punish the cat for it. But this is almost never about defiance. In most cases, it's a direct response to environmental stress. The litter box location feels exposed. Another pet is guarding access to it. The litter type changed, or there's been a disruption near that area that made your cat feel vulnerable while using it. What's fascinating is that cats associate negative experiences with locations extremely fast. If your cat had one bad experience near the litter box, maybe they were startled by a loud appliance turning on, or another animal cornered them there, they can develop a lasting aversion to that entire area, sometimes permanently. This is your cat's brain protecting them from a place it now associates with danger. And speaking of danger signals, in the next block, we're diving into a behavior that many owners actually find cute, but is secretly one of the clearest red flags of an overstimulated, overstressed cat. Here's something that's going to change how you see your cat's playful side forever. Sudden aggression, especially the kind that seems to come out of nowhere. You're petting your cat, everything seems calm, and then suddenly they bite or scratch and run off. Many owners label this as random or even joke that their cat is moody. But this behavior, often called petting-induced aggression, is actually your cat's nervous system reaching its breaking point. What's happening here is a buildup of sensory overload. Cats have incredibly sensitive skin, packed with nerve endings, and when they're already living in a high-stress environment, every touch, every sound, every movement around them is processed at a heightened level. Petting that would normally feel pleasant can suddenly tip over into too much because their baseline stress level was already elevated before you even touch them. It's not that your cat doesn't love you, it's that their stress tank was already full, and your touch was simply the final drop. Now let's talk about something that happens mostly at night and is often mistaken for cats just being weird: excessive vocalization. If your cat has started meowing more than usual, especially at odd hours like 2 or 3 a.m., and this is a relatively new behavior, this could be their way of expressing anxiety or distress about something in their environment. This is particularly common in multi-cat households, where there's tension between animals that humans simply don't notice. Because cats communicate dominance and territory through incredibly subtle body language that happens in complete silence. The unsettling truth is that two cats can hate each other and live in the same house for years without a single hiss or fight that you witness. Instead, one cat might simply control access to resources, the food bowl, the favorite window, the litter box, through nothing more than a prolonged stare or positioning themselves in a doorway. The victim cat lives in a constant state of low-grade fear, and that chronic stress often manifests at night when the dominant cat is asleep and the stressed cat finally feels safe enough to vocalize their distress. In the next block, we're going to expose a physical sign of stress that's literally written all over your cat's body, and most owners have never even noticed it. Pay close attention to your cat's tail and ears, because they are basically broadcasting a live emotional update every single moment. A tail that's constantly twitching, flicking rapidly, or wrapped tightly around their body, combined with ears that are flattened sideways or pinned back, isn't just cat language, it's a direct window into their stress levels in real time. If you notice this combination happening frequently, especially in specific rooms or around specific people or pets, that location or trigger is likely a significant source of ongoing stress. What's even more revealing is something called stress blinking, or the absence of slow blinks altogether. A relaxed, content cat will often give you slow, half-closed blinks, sometimes called cat kisses. But a stressed cat tends to have wide, alert eyes that rarely soften, you constantly scanning the environment for threats. If your cat used to give you those slow blinks regularly but has stopped, that change alone can indicate their baseline anxiety has increased, even if nothing else seems obviously different to you. Now let's talk about appetite changes, because this is where things get genuinely concerning. A stressed cat might suddenly start eating less, sometimes barely touching their food for days. But here's the twist most people don't expect. Some cats respond to stress by eating more, almost compulsively, as a way to self-soothe, similar to emotional eating in humans. If your cat's eating habits have shifted dramatically in either direction, and there's no medical explanation, environmental stress should be one of the very first things you investigate. And here's a detail that connects everything we've covered so far. Cats are creatures of routine to an almost obsessive degree. They thrive on predictability. The same feeding times, the same furniture in the same spots, the same humans coming and going at roughly the same times. When that predictability breaks down even slightly, their entire sense of safety can crumble. In the final block, we're going to bring all of this together and reveal the surprising root causes behind most of these stress signals, the ones hiding in plain sight in almost every home, and exactly what you can start doing today to help. So what's actually causing all of this? In most cases, it's not one dramatic event. It's an accumulation of small environmental factors that pile up over time. Things like construction noise outside, a new pet entering the home, Visitors staying over, changes in your work schedule, moving furniture, switching litter brands, or even something as simple as a new scented candle can disrupt your cat's sense of safety. Cats experience the world primarily through scent and routine, and anything that disturbs either of those can trigger the signals we've talked about throughout this video. Another massive factor that's rarely discussed is vertical space and territory. Cats feel safest when they have access to high places, shelves, cat trees, the top of a wardrobe, because height gives them a vantage point to monitor their surroundings, just like their wild ancestors did to spot predators. In homes where cats don't have enough vertical territory, especially multi-cat households, stress levels tend to be significantly higher because every cat is forced to compete for the same limited safe zones on the ground level. Resource distribution is another silent stressor. If you have multiple cats but only one food bowl, one water source, or one litter box, even if your cats seem to get along, there's often an underlying tension around access to these resources. The general guideline experts often mention is having one of each resource per cat, plus one extra, placed in different locations throughout the home. This single change alone has helped resolve countless cases of unexplained stress behaviors that owners struggled with for years. Finally, the most important thing you can do is become an observer of patterns, not just isolated incidents. Start noticing when these behaviors happen, what time of day, what room, who's present, what changed recently in the home. Stress signals are your cat's way of communicating the only way they know how. And once you start reading these signals correctly, you're no longer guessing what your cat needs, you're actually listening to them. And that shift from confused owner to someone who truly understands their cat is what we're going to help you build, video after video, right here on this channel. This